Hello friends, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Today I have a fun video for you all. It is part of a collaboration, but I will tell you guys about that a little later. For now, let's go into the video. DIY number 1. For this project, I am going to be using these tumbling flower blocks from the Dollar Tree and some of the little cubes as well. This project is inspired by Brandi from Treasure Tomorrow, and the link to her video will be in the description box below. So the first thing that I did for this project, I just took one of the cubes and I put it in the center and I glued a tumbling flower block on each one of its sides. Then I took tumbling tower blocks and I glued one standing up at each end of the other tumbling tower blocks that are sitting flat. Once everything was set in place and dry, I just flipped over the whole arrangement, and we are going to repeat the same process on the other side. Just make sure to clean your little joints as you're going in order for you to have a nice clean look for the next step on this process. Once the stand was completed, I just used this lavender paint and I painted the whole piece. I just did it one coat. Then in the meantime, while that dries, I'm going to be working on this can. I just painted it white using 2 coats of my Rust-Oleum chalk paint linen white. Once that was dried, I took my antique wax and I just did some light distressing. If you're enjoying this video so far, please leave me a thumbs up, and it will be wonderful if you also joined my YouTube family and subscribe to the channel. It is free and it means the world to me. And here is how it turned out. Now that everything is dry, I just positioned my can onto my stand, and now I'm going to be working on embellishing it a little bit. So what I did is I took 2 of these flowers that came new this season from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using my Concord Gray paint from Apple Barrel to completely give a coat of paint to both of these flowers. And while those dried, I'm going to be working on decorating this can a bit more. I took some jute cord. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it around the top, tying it with a double knot and leaving 2 tails at different lengths. Then I took the charms and I'm going to apply them to each one of the tails. I just used a little bit of hot glue. I looped it through one of the holes of the charm and glued it towards the back of the jute again, securing it in place. Then I took some floral foam from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut a piece that is big enough to fit into my can. And look at that, perfect fit. Then I took a lavender pick that I got from Walmart and I'm just going to dissect it. I'm just going to cut the small stems off so I can arrange them better. I just simply kept sticking them on until I liked the way that it looked. And once I was satisfied, I simply put it right on its stand. And here it is all completed. Here it is, guys. Let me know what you think. I love this piece. It just, right now, this image doesn't give it justice. It's so bright and airy. But guys, today, as I told you, the video is part of a collaboration. It is hosted by Aurea from DIY with Aurea and by Ray from Oneway Designs 238. And the co-host this month is Debbie from Blossom Your Creativity. The link to all of their channels and to the playlist will be in my description box below. So please don't forget to stop by and say hi to all the creators and let them know Loli sent you. DIY number 2. For this DIY, I'm using one of these boards that I got at the Dollartree for Christmas time. And the first thing I did was sand everything down and remove all the glitter. And I also sanded the edges from the back as well. I'll be using the back for this project. Once I was done sanding, I just cleaned off all my area from dust. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a coat of paint, but it's going to be a very sloppy paint. I want this to be showing through. I want it to look distressed and worn. So I'm just going to do a very sloppy coat. This was inspired by Aurea. You will see the link to her video in my description box below. Once I was satisfied with the look, I went over and also painted the edges because I want this to look nice and finished, and I do not like that MDF board showing. Then I dried everything with my heat gun, and I'm going to sand it all down as well so my surface is nice and leveled. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on this little wood sign I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to stain it using my Waverly Antique Wax. Guys, if you enjoyed this video so far, please don't forget to leave me that thumbs up. That really helps my channel, and subscribe as well. It is free and it means the world to me. And this is how my home sign turned out. Now I redirected my attention back to the board, and I'm going to be using this faux leather from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just cut a piece that it will fit enough for one portion, like I would say a third part of the board. I just used a pen to help me get in straight lines, and I used the board to also help me, cut this in a straight line. I cut the piece that I needed, and I'm going to go over and glue it onto my sign. I use a combination of gel super glue and hot glue to help me with attaching this to my board. The gel super glue kind of made the ink run a bit, so I had a little area there that was stained. So I just wiped it off using some glass cleaner and cleaned it as best as I could. But it doesn't matter because I'll be covering that section anyway. Then I came in with this lavender ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut off a section because I had a little sticky residue. So I wanted a nice clean look. So now I'm measuring my size. I'm burning off the ends of my ribbon to avoid any fraying, and I'll be cutting the sizes for each of the size here for the ribbon. But I noticed that I had a little bit of overlap of the leather there, so I just used my utility knife to remove that excess leather from the sides of my board. Now that everything is square, I'm going to go ahead and cut the pieces of ribbon. I started with the short sides. I'm going to go ahead and tack it down using some hot glue. I just used hot glue in one end, make sure that everything was nice and straight. And then I'm going to add hot glue to the entire section where the ribbon will be laying. I repeated the exact same process on the other side, just making sure to keep everything as straight as possible. And I made sure to also burn off the ends to avoid fraying. Friends, don't forget to stop by my description box to click on that link so you're able to enjoy all the DIYs from all the creators that have joined this collaboration. Once the sides were completed, I'm going to be working on the top and bottom. these pieces are longer, I just took it and put it over the other one, and I just cut right over. Then I used that piece, burned off the little edges, and then I'm going to use that one as a guide to cut a piece for the top as well. Then I tack it down exactly the same way I did the other ones, but I am focusing on the edges. I didn't want this to look very wrinkly, so I'm just attaching the glue and making sure to just have it nice and taut so everything sits down nice and neat. Then I took one of these ribbon triangles from the Dollartree, and I'm going to be using the section that says fresh flowers, and I place it right in the middle of the triangle, or actually rectangle, that I created on there with the ribbon. I rub it really well, and then I'm removing the paper, and I'm going to be using some lavender for this one as well. As I did before, I just remove all the little pieces off of the pick, and I'm going to be arranging them on inside of my little pocket. Once I was satisfied with the placement of the lavender, I'm gonna go ahead and attach my home sign. I also used a combination of gel super glue and hot glue to attach this to the board. Now it's time to get a hanger in place. So I took some of these beads from the Dollartree, and I'm adding some of that lavender paint into a baggie together with the beads. I just swirled them around until they were completely covered, and then took them out and used my heat gun to dry them very quickly because I know already I have no patience. Then I threaded the beads onto some jute cord. I took a little bit of glue and put it on the end of the jute cord so I was able to thread them easily. Then I cut a piece off, and I'm going to make a loop at the top of one of the ends of the jute cord. This is what I'm going to be using to hang my sign. So I just did 2 knots on the bottom, making sure to leave that loop at the top. And once I had it all secure, I took the end and I added a bit of hot glue to it, and I threaded it into the beads that were already on the jute cord. Now it's time to put the hanger onto the board, so I just looped it coming in from the front, then wrap the cord around the stem, put the beads as close as possible that I could to the board because I didn't really want it to have much leeway there. So I just did that. I did it twice to create a double knot, and then I have a lovely hanger. I just went over and cut the excess and added a little bit of hot glue to avoid any unraveling of that knot. And here it is. But of course, I'm not done yet. I'm going to be taking some of these thumbtacks from the Dollartree in the color gold. I cut off the little tack part, the little pointy part, and then I added a little bit of hot glue to the tack bottom, and I tacked it onto the ribbon. I started with doing the first 4 corners. Once I was done with that, it was just a lot easier to space out the other pieces. along the way. So I went there, I went closer to the middle as I went until I got to the middle to assure that I had the best placement in between of them. And here it is all completed. I hope you enjoyed this one. I am so in love with this. I love lavender and these are awesome. Tell me which one is your favorite. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. If you want to follow me on social media, here are my social media links. And don't forget again, go see my friends on the playlist. Thank you so much as always. Have an amazing day.